That's it. That's it. I didn't need a spell after all.
What do you mean?
You were right. There's no spell that I can find that's going to change you back. But I don't need a spell.
Where are you going? Get back here! What is that?
Oh, I think you very much know. That's right. It's the Kandarian dagger. And I think you're pretty familiar with what it can do. Oh, Robert? Robert, is that you?
Yeah, it's me again.
Oh, thank God. Whew.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah, man, anything.
Why is there a fucking blade in my hand?
Oh!
Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better. You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the horror show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Robert the Wolfman.
And we are finishing out our Evil Dead movie reviews with the brand new release, Evil Dead Rise. But before we get to that, just want to let you guys know we have, 10 pairs of tickets to give away to Evil Dead Rise. If you guys would like a pair of tickets, I can email you all of these codes. Just put your comment in the comments down below saying you want a ticket, and I will make sure that you get it. I will need your email address, but if you want to go see Evil Dead Rise, you and a friend, for free this weekend, you can do it.
One code per person. Don't get greedy, people.
Indeed, one code per person, which is good for 2 people.
Exactly.
So, there you go, guys. So let's get into our review of Evil Dead Rise. By the way, thank you to Allied and Patrick and all of the good people over there for providing those tickets for you guys. We greatly appreciate it. And this movie we're going to do like we do our normal reviews, talking about the overall thoughts, then the story, the acting, the effects. Yep. So we are going to be going more in depth on this than we have with the other Evil Dead movies, because those were just kind of surface level reviews. But here we go with Evil Dead Rise. So I will start off with my overall thoughts saying that I enjoyed a lot of this movie. I thought it was really well shot, really presented very well, sound design wise, and acting. I thought everyone did a good job, but unfortunately, I felt like they tried to crowbar too many of the other Evil Dead things that we know and love into this story, when I thought this was going to be an original story utilizing things established in the Evil Dead universe. They did a lot of crowbarring in this movie, and it unfortunately detracted for me.
Absolutely. I was really looking forward to this movie, especially from all the reviews that we had. After leaving it, I actually prefer to go back and rewatch the 2013 remake. And if you guys have watched my review on that one, I'm not too keen on that. Like, I love it. It has its merits, and where it's due, it shines. This movie, they tried too much that fell flat. I was not a big fan of the plain face Deadites. Like, it was neat on the aspect of what and they even explained it in there as you're rotting from the inside. You know, you are possessed. It kind of it goes with the territory in the demonic movies is your body starts rotting away. Which it did look good, but I don't feel like they were utilized properly in how they should have been. There were too many tropes and nostalgia throwbacks that were just thrown in there for the sake of member berry. Like, hey, remember this? Remember the member?
Lines of dialogue, things that happen.
Foreshadowing stuff that you saw coming miles away. It was nothing new, and that was the disappointment. And even for stuff that we saw in the trailer and everything, thinking like, oh, what is this like?
We were very excited after the full trailer.
Was this like a flashback scene? Blah blah blah. But no, it was.
We don't need to give it away.
I'm not. But there were scenes that were not necessary in the overall movie. They were just put in there just for the sake of we're trying to open the world a little bit more. But it didn't do anything. It did nothing new. The sound design was decent. We'll get into that and everything. I'm really disappointed in this movie. I really am. It bugs me to say it.
But you still thought it was well made.
Absolutely. There's still a lot of merit.
So it's story that he had big issues with.
It's story and certain character designs, things like that. Okay. Especially story progression. Too many conveniences.
I just don't want people to think that we hated this movie, that it was a bad movie. It's
no.
It's not what I was hoping for. Yep. A lot of people are going to really love this. A lot of people are going to think it's scary as hell. Unfortunately, I don't think it lived up to the scariness that 2013 did. 2013 is high on my list. By the way, stay tuned because within the next 2 to 3 days, you're going to get both a tier list ranking of the franchise and a standard ranking. Yep. We've already recorded the standard ranking. The tier list ranking we're going to do live on Sunday. So yeah, look forward to that if you're interested. But this movie, going to the story, is about a family living in an apartment building in Los Angeles running afoul of the Necronomicon and all of the dangers that it wrought, or can bring upon people. Jesus, I don't even know. But nonetheless, it starts off with another sort of vignette scene that you see in the trailers where there's people at a cabin, and then it jumps to the apartment building storyline. And the tie-in is loose, to say the least, but they do tie it in eventually. But the crux of the story is the family in the LA apartment building. And the mom is played by
Alyssa
Sutherland, who played Queen Oslog on Vikings for a number of years. Yep. And I just made it through. She just expired on the show after many, many years on the show. So to see her show up in this was like, I was like, oh, it's Queen Oslog. She's still out there.
She was so much better in Vikings.
She was good in Vikings, but I thought she was good in this too. I thought she did a great job, both as herself and as the Deadite. Again, I think I liked this movie more than you did. I think that's pretty much
it's possible, and it's one of those things like
I still didn't like it as much as a lot of other Evil Dead stuff, but I definitely liked it more than you.
It's one of those movies like I will.
There's a lot to enjoy.
I will go back and rewatch because again, it's like you miss certain things, like certain world details on your first time watch. That's why I even with going back and rewatching the 2013 movie, I did enjoy that because there were other things that I picked up on that it gave me a little bit more of a gripe. So it's like you notice a little bit more of the things. So I hope at least down the line I can find more of an appreciation than what I did leaving the theater for this.
But continuing the story, the family runs afoul. A couple of the kids, one of the kids specifically, finds the Necronomicon, opens it, and unfortunately facilitates the reading of passages. And, of course, Deadites come and take over their mom, and the virus starts to spread slowly, as does with every Evil Dead property, so it's not a spoiler to say that. But that's the story. And how does the family deal with the situation? And what happens and how does it get resolved? That's the long and short of the story. I thought it was a very serviceable story. It's just the same as in every other Evil Dead movie. I was hoping it would be a little bit different and play out a little bit differently, but it was very much the exact same.
But then that was kind of also the problem. It was too surface level.
It was too similar. It's too formulaic for the Evil Dead franchise, and didn't allow for the deepening of characters.
No, not at all. There was more times like I actually kind of had a little bit of annoyance with some of the characters because they kept them so surface, and at the same time, you knew when things were going to happen on certain attacks. You're like, oh, well, you're done. Like it was,
you're done.
Yeah,
you're done.
Yeah, I wanted to be able to kind of guess with this movie, and that's what I was hoping for. For one, we're in a apartment high rise in downtown LA. Granted, even like the story, it's already been told, like it's shutting down, shit like that. But there's more people in the building. You utilize jack and shit for the amount of like carnage that we could have had with this movie. It's
well, but again, that feels like you're judging it based on what it wasn't rather than what it was.
It was a bunker style movie.
It was a bunker style, yes.
It was a bunker style Evil Dead, and that's again where it fell flat.
I don't like bunker movies very much either, but it wasn't as chained down as a bunker movie. It wasn't just one room essentially. It was in a whole apartment, and at least that level of the floor.
3 rooms.
Yeah, I mean, so nonetheless. That's the story. You weren't a big fan of how it played out. I thought it was okay. The acting I thought was good from everyone. I didn't really have any holes there. Anyone that was like bringing me out of it. I thought everyone did a great job. I bought into the family.
Honestly, like where a couple of them fell flat, I think was just on the script itself, on just certain dialogue. Because again, like. Depending on how it's written, there's only certain ways you can deliver it. I don't care if you're Al Pacino or who the hell in between. If you got a bad line, you have a bad line.
You have a bad line, yeah.
Like, and then a couple of the characters had some of those bad lines that were just thrown in there as a member berry softball.
Yeah.
It was
crowbar, more like, but yeah.
Yeah, no, shoved down your throat, with a funnel, whatever.
But let's talk about something positive again. Let's talk about the filmmaking. It was very beautiful.
How they shot this movie, I was very impressed, and I was intrigued throughout the entire time.
It was a mixture of your newer filmmaking techniques, a la Insidious and The Conjuring and stuff like that, mixed with the old Evil Dead style.
Yeah,
so
that
I thought they
Raimi made so popular.
Right. I thought they did a really good job with that presentation.
Absolutely.
And I thought the sound design was really awesome and gross when need be and engaging. And I really like that aspect of the film as well.
I agree. So obviously the cinematography and how they shot it was fantastic. I have no gripes with that. The sound design, it was good for what it was. I wish we had a little bit more of just that atmospheric creepiness that especially like the original Evil Dead and just those sound tones that they would give for just like the Deadite Rising, things like that. You'd have those sharp but deep baritone sounds that take you off guard. This movie relied more on just like sharp, loud sounds, like just loud noises. Like that's there was a couple times where I'm just like, okay,
I didn't feel that way, but I understand.
Like especially like a couple of screaming scenes, shit like that. They were just drug on a little bit too much, but at the same time, they worked, but they didn't work. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. But want to jump over into effects real quick?
Yeah, FX is huge for this. I mean, they definitely made this. This is probably the goriest of all the Evil Dead things that we've ever seen, including Evil Dead. Well, if you include the blood rain at the end of Evil Dead 2013, maybe not. But otherwise, this definitely had the most gore. I mean, the Shining homage and like all the stuff leading up to it. It was a lot of blood in this movie. And there was, so I know you weren't a fan of the Deadite prosthetic effects.
Nope.
Compared to the older stuff. I actually liked it. This is a lot closer to the Evil Dead 2013 Deadite looks than
it's also,
anything else.
It's also lack thereof prosthetics.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they changed the eyes, they changed the pallor of the skin, and then whatever damage they sustain stays.
No, that's fine and dandy, but it's like, just when you change, okay, you have yellow eyes now, and you're a Deadite, cool. That's not.
I get it.
That's not scary.
No, they were very unnerving to me. I disagree. I thought they were very unnerving.
The thing at the end was garbage.
Okay, fair enough. We can't spoil it, but
No.
it does build up to something towards the end, and it's
lackluster for
lackluster. We could say it's lackluster.
Yeah.
Yes. The idea, I could see the idea behind it, but the execution was
laughable.
a little. I mean, I wasn't gonna say laughable.
It was pretty bad.
Leaves a little bit to be desired.
It's been done better before.
Yeah, I would say that's true. I would say that's
again,
true. But we're not spoiling what it is.
No, we're not. But that's also the problem.
But it's not wholly original.
No, and that was the problem. Like we kept kind of going back to even earlier. It's like there was nothing new in this movie to be like, oh fuck, that was awesome. Wait, how are they gonna play this out? No, it was. Oh, okay, I see where they're taking this. Oh, okay, that's a cool. Okay, foreshadowing. I know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
I was so hopeful for this. I really was. And I wanted to like it more than I did. I was actually hoping to like this more than the 2013 remake.
Yeah. I was too, but alas, we are where we are.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are still going to love it. You know, we as Evil Dead, perhaps purists, maybe are a little bit harder to please when it comes to
honestly,
that.
there's things with that. I'm like, I don't care. I really don't care.
I'd still, again, this is meant to be one of the Necronomicons. Apparently, there were 3, right, from Army of Darkness, and there's the Ash timeline, the Evil Dead 2013 timeline, and now the Evil Dead Rise timeline, if I'm not mistaken.
Also, though, too, those 3 books in Army of Darkness, technically, there was 3 or 4 of them, but there
was 3 on the pedestals, yeah.
2 of them were decoys, were fake books.
No, I know, but they're just having fun with that lore, saying that there's 3 separate books. Why are you, get the stick out of your ass. Let the lore expand, for fuck's sake. Holy shit. Anyway.
It's fine if you're expanding lore, but when you're completely changing the lore and retconning
it's not changing,
the whole
it's
fucking
evolving.
thing.
All that stuff is still there, Robert. Those movies, they still exist.
Yeah, I know. And they're the better of them.
It's okay.
And they're the better of them.
We don't need to stick in the footprints that people made 30 years ago.
That's fine.
But I will say...
Make something new.
That I was hoping that this would be more original than it was.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it itself was chained in the Evil Dead lore that has been established, and so much so that things were, again, crowbarred in that did detract from the overall enjoyment of the film.
Where this movie, I think, would have done even better is a storyline that they bring up in this after finding the Necronomicon. That, personally, I think taking it back for that would have worked hell of a lot better instead of keeping it on the modern times for what we had. Wow. And when you guys see the movie, you'll know kind of what I'm talking about. It's deal with some old stuff that one of the kids listened to. But that would have served as a better new story instead of keeping in because again we don't know what has happened in the past with this. Yeah. We always know what...
Well, but they're trying to keep it updated, to keep current audiences engaged. They can't just go back and prequelize it, and not enough people will care. Yeah. So, anyway, that's going to do it for our overall thoughts and more specific but non-spoilery thoughts on Evil Dead Rise. Let us know what you guys thought of this movie in the comments down below. Thank you to everyone for watching this and our entire Evil Dead review series. If you've missed any of our other reviews, go back and watch. The cold open that finished out the storyline at the beginning of this review, there were 6 parts total. So if you missed any of the parts, they're worth going back and checking out. Thank you again for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. Until next time, though, I've been Cecil Laird.
Robert the Wolfman.
And remember... Stay scared.